From the Rainbow Wedding Hall and Banquet Facility in Altona, New York, we bring you Motorsports Magazine, and our opening interview is with track promoter Mike Peratti. And Mike, certainly we expect a great turnout here tonight. The top 15 point getters will be here, as well as some friends and whatnot. And let's talk about the season overall. Pretty good season for Airborne. Only 2 rainouts. We had a lot of close racing, and overall I think it was a pretty good year at the Big A.
Each year seems to get better, and this year, to me, was the best. The racing, everyone has just really settled in and respects each other and have got their acts together, you know what I mean? Their cars are working good, they're driving well, and it was just a great year. We had, up until June, it was a little rough. It seemed, if I remember correctly, there was too much wrecking, but after that, it just sort of settled down, and it was just outstanding racing from that point onward.
Now let's go division by division like we do always here. We'll start with the modified division. At the beginning of the season, everybody said Pat Dupree was the guy to beat. Martin Roy had moved out, and Pat Dupree was the guy to beat, but not necessarily the story at all. We had Todd Stone, who came in and eventually won the track championship, and he proved that consistency, not necessarily racking up a lot of wins, but consistency and good finishes is what proved to be the champion in that modified division.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Todd's a great racer, and I certainly expected Pat to be near the top, as he always is, but I never expected him to be a runaway or that he was a shoe-in, you know what I mean? George Foley and several other guys are always tough, and then it turned out that Pat Mcgrail came out with a new Troyer car, and that made him a front runner instantly. I mean, he's always been a good driver, and they've really had a class act. But it was an interesting season and a very competitive one, and I think next year will be even more competitive. That Troyer car really got guys thinking and got them working on their cars for this year and trying to improve them. So I'm looking forward to that.
Now we also had the series races with dirt, and there was a problem when they went out to Lancaster Speedway. They didn't get the car count they wanted. There were certainly good car counts at our racetrack at Airborne. Has there been any talk thus far about any series races next year or any combination? I know Devil's Bowl also runs modifieds. Our modifieds would have to run the restrictor plate, I believe, on the modifieds if they were to run together over at Devil's Bowl. But has there been any talk of any series or anything that's going to happen next year?
Well, we're not really interested in getting involved in a deal like we did last year, where we bring guys, 400 miles and they don't have any cars or any people in the stands. We went above and beyond holding up our end of it, and I don't feel that they did at that end. So, but there are certainly a lot of tracks that want us to go with our show, but we don't. We'll probably we got 1 or 2 tracks in Quebec that I'd like to go to, because we have a third of our field is Quebec drivers, our modified drivers. So I'm looking forward to doing a race or 2 up there, and I'm very close to announcing where that'll be. As far as Devil's Bowl, really those are sportsman cars down there, with the exception of a couple 358s with restrictor plates. And most of our guys aren't interested in putting restrictor plates on. So there's a possibility that our Sportsman Division could go down there, or they could come up here, but I don't see anything happening as far as the modifieds going right at this time. But we certainly, there's some neat things in the works for the modifieds, and if we don't go anywhere, that'd be fine with me too. But I'd really like to get our guys up into Canada and Quebec, for the Quebec racers that we have, to be able to race at home in front of their home crowd and friends and family.
Now, I know at the end of a season, drivers always say, well, I'm moving up into this division next year. I'm going to be in this division again next year. Has there been any talk of any maybe outside drivers or any drivers that we saw at Airborne Speedway this year that perhaps want to go up to the modifieds? I know that's a big step from any division except maybe the Sportsman Modifieds, and we'll talk about them in a second. But any talk about drivers or anybody wanting to move up into the modifieds?
I haven't had too many guys talk to me about moving up. I have had some other drivers from Quebec, certainly, that are interested in joining the modified field. And one name that you all may be familiar with is Tommy Close, Hemi Cuda out of Potsdam. His father, or they owned Hemi Cuda since way back in the 60s, and Tommy's been running asphalt modifieds, but he wants to come run as many races as he can this year. He's trying to put together a deal to do that, and looking forward to running a full season the year after. So I'm excited about that. That division is going to bring in more talent, guys that are wanting to try it, and then once you do it, you like it. It's a very tough division, so I don't see many lower division guys jumping up. It takes a lot of money to do it, to be competitive, honestly. So I think our Sportsman Division is going to grow quite a lot, though.
And you fed right into what I wanted to talk about, the Sportsman Division. It was the first year for the Sportsman Division, and car counts weren't as high as other divisions, and you can expect that being our first-year division. But nonetheless, the racing was great. Nick Haywood was able to pull off the championship. But the racing week in and week out, it was just great side-by-side racing. It was always exciting, especially seeing guys like Nick Haywood and Jesse Mueller at times. And Lonnie Rivers also worked their way from the back of the pack, and it's a learning division. It's a low budget also, and it's the first time for some drivers to go out there and race open wheels.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the way those guys handled those cars, especially the guys from the four-cylinder division that jumped up, Speedy Brissett and John Michael Brissett. They looked like they'd been in those cars forever, They did a great job, and, I think we had about 15 or 16 of those cars regularly. I expect to have 20 or 25 this year, and see that being our most popular division in a couple of years, Aside from, as far as the racers are concerned, I think the grandstands, the fans can argue that the Renegades are the most popular division, but as far as racers wanting to get involved, it's relatively inexpensive to drive or to build and race a Sportsman Modified, and a lot of fun.
Now, I know many other speedways that do run Sportsman Modifieds. They have great car counts, and like you mentioned, that is the best draw as far as divisions are. Any talk of drivers perhaps from different speedways or drivers in lower divisions moving up into a Sportsman Modified?
I heard Keith Pelkey wants to move up. There's been a few guys. I just don't remember or recall right off the top of my head who they are. I've been kind of busy with other things and haven't got to talk to a lot of racers, and I'm sure I'll hear some scuttlebutt tonight. But I know there'll be a few more jumping up, and like I said, I think that's going to be one of our most popular classes in the next year or two.
Now we'll move on to the limited late model division. It was a first-year name, but a division we've had for many of years. In the limited late model division, it was you could say a three-horse battle as far as the wins go. But at times there was a lot of competition throughout until Bucko Branham really got his car dialed in, and he ended up working his way to a championship. But the limited late model division numbers were a little lower than I think we would have liked. But overall, I think racing in that division was still pretty good, and car counts were pretty strong. But there were a couple of big pileups and big wrecks that some of the lower budget guys in that division, I think it hurt them and affect them, and we didn't see them as much later on in the season.
Yeah, that's true. It's an expensive class. These cars are expensive, and you got guys like Bucko and Robin and Jamie and those guys that have worked on those things and raced them for years and know all the ins and outs, and they're just really good racers. So it makes it, it deters a lot of guys from getting in that class. I know the car counts are low, and I'm not sure what's going to happen going forward. I'd like to see more cars because it's great racing. The cars look good.
Right.
And as you said, though, Bucko really came onto something. But Robin came onto it at the end of the year, too.
Yep.
And he ran away with the last show. Those guys aren't apt to share too many secrets, because they work so hard to do it. But they certainly both help each other, and they all help each other in that division. It's a good division. Brad Ducat was very strong this year. Fred Lagoy ran extremely well. There's other guys that can do it. You just have to wait and see what happens. And we had that Canadian thing, Quebec series too, and I'm not sure, we're talking with those guys again to see what we can do with them, but it was fun when those guys came down with the 10 or 12 cars.
And that was the one thing I was going to talk about next. With the Canadian rules, we actually had the, what I believe, 8-inch tires this year for that division, and I thought that as far as handling-wise, they were much better, and they actually gained some time on the racetrack and made those cars faster. And you mentioned the Canadian guys when they came down. That the series races were always interesting, and it was a good time for our guys that went up there. There were only a couple of guys that went up there, but certainly when they came down, I think in that limited late model division, the drivers got to experience something that's a rarity for them when they get to race against new guys for just 3 weeks of the season. And even though some of those Canadian guys like to be a little rough, I think it was a great turnout for our division.
Well, it was really cool because they, even though they only had like 6 races, they sort of they got through breaking the ice with each other, or whatever you want to put it. But they broke some parts in the meantime.
Yeah.
But it was good. I think they all at the end of the year were happy with the way things went. I know that the Quebec guys liked coming down here and racing. They liked the racetrack, and our 3 or 4 guys that went up there, at the last race, were pretty happy with the way things went. So, it's always nice when you can intermingle with another track or another group, especially, the Quebec racers, because they're great. The fans are great, and it's just, so close for us. And we're like we're a suburb of Montreal almost. So hopefully we can get something going with those guys again.
Now we'll move on to the Renegade division. Kevin Booten has been the guy that's been on top for the last few years, but he hasn't been the guy that racks up all kinds of wins. Again, that division is a division of a ton of parity and a lot of consistency. And we had, I believe, 7 or 8 winners in that division. And only 2 drivers picked up 3 wins. I believe Terry and McClatchy were the only 2 that led in wins in that division. Perhaps Booten may have picked up 3 as well. But a division of parity with wins that are really spread out in that Renegade division.
Yeah, that's, arguably the best division we have as far as being able to watch them race. And those guys are great. They just respect each other, and they race side by side. Every race, it's the same thing. Very little damage done to each other. Everyone loves the Renegade division. And Kevin Booten, he's been the champion a few years there, and he's always, those guys help each other out. Rob Toys, and there's a whole list of guys that can win there and do win. And I'm always, everyone watches when those guys go out. It's just probably the best division in any track anywhere. It's just a really good division.
Now, I know something that was brought up in the off-season amongst that Renegade division was you asked the question, should we make any changes? And no changes were made, really, just some very small changes. But I think, I don't know about you, but that division is very good the way it is now, and I think it can keep running the way it is now with the success it's been having.
I don't intend to change anything. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yes.
And anytime you change something, it costs you money. We did make changes, as you said, to the limited late models, which is positive. They had less crashes, or the cars are more under control, less tire wear, and that all worked out very well. But I don't intend to change anything. I hope that these guys at the Renegades can go home and brush them off and come back and race them in the spring without spending a dime.
We'll move to the mini-mod division. In the mini-mod division, Eric Sales was, he sailed his way to the championship. He was very dominant, and he had a good car underneath him and a Rick Donor-built car. But at the same time, I think racing in that division was a lot better this year than years previous, where I don't think you had to get too intervened with some of the drivers like in years past.
No, it was good. From an operational point of view, this was the best year we've had. Very little controversy, arguments or dissension among the drivers. Everybody just raced and did what they needed to do and knew what they had to do. And you're right, the mini-mod division, they were racing hard and, sometimes 4 or 5 wide. And those cars are probably the hardest cars to drive out there. And taking that into consideration with new drivers, guys with no experience, it's really something that people don't think about. So, you would expect more wrecks, but they really did an outstanding job. Like you said, Rick Sales, I think he's moving up to the Renegades. Yep. Which would be good for that division, so it gives someone else a chance to win. It was a good division. I like the way the cars look, and I don't really see changing anything in the rules there either, It worked pretty well.
Now, this year's focus was staying with our own divisions, helping out our own divisions. We didn't have any touring groups except for the American-Canadian Tour later on in the year. They ran their own show. Any plans for next season as far as bringing in a group, perhaps, or any kind of touring series as of now?
No super modifieds, no asphalt modifieds. Same as what we did. I was really happy to be able to spend our money with on our own guys, and it seemed to work out well. We're going to have ACT again. We have a couple other things that we're working on that aren't finalized yet. They're pretty exciting, but nothing as far as other big series right at this point.
Now, another thing that we've seen is improvement with each and every year on the Speedway, whether it's bleacher facilities, a new tower, just the fans. One thing I hear constantly throughout the city is Airborne's a new place. The reputation it had maybe 10 years ago, where I'll use the term redneck, it has changed to now normal. You know, there are normal, you hate to use the word normal because we're all normal people out there, but the term that many people used to use was redneck, and that's what I hear from many people. And what I hear from people in the city is that Airborne's a place that they enjoy. You know, the fireworks show especially is what got them out there, and when they saw some of the racing on those nights, they really enjoyed the atmosphere, and the Speedway's really been turned around.
Well, it has, you know, and I mean, part of that's in the operational part of it, and then the other part is the improvements to the facility. And each year we try to do something a little different. But, you know, it's true. I mean, Airborne had a bad reputation, and as far as being a rough place to go. And it's really funny because a lot of tracks and a lot of these meetings that I go to with other tracks, you know, they sort of like controversy, and we're trying to tame it down, and they're trying to pipe it up a little bit. But you know, it's a sport like any other sport. You know, I mean, I always get a kick out of people making a big deal about something that happens at Airborne. But when I watch football, each and every play, there's a shoving match between the players, and you know, and in hockey, you know, you go to a hockey game, and you know, it's a big fist fight half the time, and everyone thinks that's great. But you know, it's kind of funny that people do look at Airborne as a redneck place, and certainly, you know, we're a blue collar place, you know, and that's fine, you know. But we want to be able to go there and have fun, and not have to worry about anyone's safety or, you know, things of that nature. So it has changed a lot. I mean, we don't want to tame it to where it's too tame, you know, like NASCAR has, where NASCAR is just, you know, it's too vanilla and pristine, you know, that it's not exciting or fun anymore, you know. But it has changed, and it's you know, it's great, you know. We're pretty happy with it.
We've seen some rivalries throughout the season. One that comes right off the top of the head is Bucko Branham, Jamie Begor. And even at the end of the season, I know Jamie rather, had problems up in Quebec when they had the series race. And the first guy over there to help him out was Bucko Branham. So there's rivalries on the track, and that's great for the fans. That gets the fans into it. But at the same time, while drivers might be heated in the pits, they can get over it and they can talk and help one another. And that's what's really great about the racetrack.
Well, yeah, you know, and Jamie wrecked up pretty bad at the end of the year, and then Bucko was over there working on his car as well as everyone else. So we have a great group of people, and that's all part of it, you know. I mean, you can be mad at each other and not like each other, or seem to not like each other, you know, but we're all really friends, and you know, it's about camaraderie and having fun together and doing what you like to do, you know, not carrying it too far.
One of the most popular shows at the racetrack for the past couple of years has been the gigantic fireworks display by Dr. Joe. And this year we actually did it on a separate race day where we had the sock car, which I thought ended up being a pretty fun show. We didn't have a lot of teams, but it was a lot of fun, and you could tell the guys had a lot of fun. And I think that, you know, it was a great idea to do it on another day, because you got those people that didn't necessarily want to spend the whole evening and come out and watch a race, but they got to see some entertainment and something that was new in soccer, and they got to see another great fireworks display. So my question is, next season, I don't know if we've planned it yet, but do we plan on doing the same thing as this year, or would that be on a Saturday night show?
I'm not sure yet. We haven't done our schedule. You know, whenever you do something, there's always pros and cons, or there's a trade-off to it. You know, the trade.
I know Dr. Joe is always planning way ahead of time.
Yeah, well, we're working on it. You know, I'm just not sure yet. There's a few things we're waiting on to decide when we're going to do it. You know, the nice thing is that it helped with traffic and getting people out, you know, doing it on a separate night, and that's one of our main concerns. But we really don't know yet when we're going to do it.
Now, the entire 2012 season in perspective, just give a little assessment and your overall grade on how the season went.
I would say it's an A+. You know, I'm very happy with the way it went. It was very smooth operational-wise. You know, everyone knew what to expect of each other, racetrack, racers, officials. and it went very smooth. I mean, you're always going to have these little hitches, but I was very happy with it. It was the most fun season that I've had, and the least stressful season as far as operating the track line.
Well, we'll look to end off that start 2013 off the same foot as 2012. Thanks for being with us tonight, Mike.
Thank you very much for supporting the racetrack. Look forward to next year.
That's Airborne Speedway promoter Mike Peratti.
All right, if I can get everyone's attention, I'd like to thank everybody for being here for this year's 2012 Airborne Speedway Banquet. If it wasn't for all you people supporting us all year long, this beautiful banquet and this hall wouldn't be packed like it is tonight. So on my half and on the track's behalf, thank you all for what you've done all year long. And on that note, I would like everyone in here to have their all-divided attention for one quick silent moment. We lost a track person this year that's been around racing, and you heard his voice for many, many years at Airborne Speedway and some of our local radio stations. Back in January, we lost a great person, Mr. Rick Knowles. And if I could get just a quick moment of silence, I thank you all. Thank you. Now if I can get the personnel from the bar to turn the radio off, it'd be appreciated. At this time, I'd like to bring our Airborne Speedway track promoter and just about every other thing around the track. Seems like he gets called in to do. This great person that's been with us many years, and I think is the backbone of Airborne Park Speedway, Mr. Mike Peratti. Thank you. Thanks for being here. This is, we've been doing this since 2005 and it just keeps getting better. We have a group of people and racers here now and fans, crew members that are serious about racing and having fun. And you make this year the best year for me. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a great year. The racing's been great. Operational wise, you've made it very easy, and we just look forward to continuing on bigger and better every year. In the Modified Division, we have this past year introduced a Troyer car that's got a bunch of guys nervous about being able to compete with it. All you have to do is ask the guys that have these cars, all you guys that have trouble competing, and this is the same in every division. Go see Wes Moody, Pat Mcgrail, guys that have these cars. Wes Moody's just bought one, and he's invited everyone to come and look at the car, measure it, do whatever you want. These guys are here to help you. They've always been here to help. You just have to ask. You're racing against in that division some very tough competition. Billy Colton built and designed that car. Billy Colton owns Troyer Manufacturing. He is partners on a cup in a cup team, so he has all the technology. So you guys are really racing against that type of technology, whether you know it or not. You have, like I said, Todd Stone has a great operation, has full-time people, and guys that are very serious about racing. They'll all help you. Everyone in this pit area that does well is willing to help. And the same in limited late models, you know, Bucko and Robin, those guys, you don't know how they'll help you. If you need help, go see them. Same with Bowden in the Renegade Division and Rob Toys. You know, we're all in this together, and I know why this thing is so successful is because we're all friends here. We all respect each other. We all have fun. We may get mad at each other over the summer, but at the end of the day and at the end of the season, we all respect each other, and we're all friends. And we all need to help each other. And so far, that philosophy has worked. You know, and winning is not the only thing that's important. You know, I talked to Carl Fredrickson the other day from Speedway Illustrated, and he says he does it because he wants to be part of the experience. And that's why we should all do it, first and foremost, is to be part of the experience. Some guys are naturals at this, and it comes easy. Others aren't. But to succeed, you have to do, you know, you have to work hard at it and be organized. We put too much of an emphasis on winning. We should focus more on having fun and helping each other. I'd like to thank all the officials that work hard all year long without much gratification. The thing that I hear the most when other people come to our track for the first time is how good the officials are and how nice they are. And that's important to me, and it's a reflection on all of you. Craig Hornsby told me that Albert Hutchins was the best pit steward that he's ever raced for. Craig's raced a lot of racetracks. And I didn't think much about it until I started thinking about it, and I thought that was pretty nice. And we do have great officials and great racers. Thanks for letting me guide you through this part of this journey and our part of our lives. I appreciate it. I look forward to doing it in the future. We have a lot of neat things planned for next year. And if any of you would like to come up and speak, or when you get your awards speak, I encourage that. We're supposed to have fun. We do have a guest speaker. Gary Ballou is here. He works on the Bartamy team. I asked Gary to speak. Gary, the older guys know, was a great racer in the past. He won Syracuse 4 times, I'm sorry. Made it to Cup, ran a year and a half in Cup, finished 5th in Atlanta, I believe. And has been around the sport and has some words of wisdom that I think we'd all enjoy to hear. Gary?
I just want to say that I've been here, Airborne, like 3 races with the Bartamy family, and they've accepted me like family, and what a great concept. I mean, these cars on asphalt is something way different than I've ever done. And I think it's neat. What a show. I've been around, you know, like the crate cars and late model cars, and it's like follow leader. And this show at Airborne is racing. I've seen Pat Mcgrail come from the back. I've seen Stone come from the back. You know, that's a race. I mean, we're back racing again here. Something different, you know, than follow the leader. And I'm just thankful to have the opportunity to be with such good people. And what a great crowd, man. I mean, this is neat. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for letting me be the Bartamy family. They're great people. They're 2 kids that really want to race and go fast and are aggressive. And I have an opportunity to help them and give them what I've learned in, I don't know, 30 years, whatever it's been, 40 years, I don't know. I've been around a long time, that's why I'm 14, but I appreciate the opportunity to be here with y'all tonight, and it's great. I can't wait till next year. I want to come there and be competitive and race with y'all and hope that we can be fast and maybe we can be up there at the front gate next year. That's what we're shooting for. We're building some new cars. We're going to go to dilution test, your car, and try to run certain views. And of course, we're going to do some testing, do some of the asphalt car. And I'm looking really forward to it. It's a great opportunity for me. And you know what? I go back to like my Facebook, and all my fans are from New York State, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and I mean I race all over the United States, but this is where it's at. Thank you. God bless.
Gary, thank you. And now we're going to get our awards started. First of all, I'd like everyone here to give a great round of applause to a guy that was just up here speaking before Gary, our race promoter and director, Mr. Mike Peratti. And also, all our racing all year long in each and every class, we had class sponsors. And I'd like to go over these sponsors and have each one, if you're here, stand up. If not, have the crowd give a great round of applause, because without these sponsors, this isn't possible at all throughout the year. Our mini modified class, from Plattsburgh Distributing, the Busch Beer Mini Modifieds, Mr. Jack Fisher. In our Renegade division, from the Key RD Trailer Sales, Rick DeStefano. From our limited late model, from J&S Steel, Jeff Sears. In our new class this year, the Sportsman Modifieds, from Adirondack Water Systems, Mr. Todd Ormsby. And with our modifieds, from Ernie's Discount Tools, Ernie Cologne. We're going to start out with our mini modifieds. All mini modified drivers, if you're here in the top 15, if you could come to the right side of the building and line up down here by these double doors, back, in line, knowing your positions, we'll go through the awards.
Now, please feel free to speak or thank whoever you like. None of us here are professional speakers. We're just here to have fun, and feel free to say, get on here and thank whoever you like. Thanks.
Going on with our Busch Beer Mini Modifieds. Finishing in 15th, he had 404 points. He was from Plattsburgh, New York. The driver of the number 07, Austin LaGrave. Finishing in 14th with 441 points from Keysville, New York, the driver of the number 03, Heath Baker. Finishing in 13th with 450 points. He's not with us tonight, but he was the driver of the number 22, Chad Collins. Finishing in 12th with 452 points from Plattsburgh, New York, the number 79, Jay LaGrave. with 454 points. He's not with us tonight, but he's the driver of the number 16, Dale O'Neill. And now breaking into the top 10, finishing in 10th with 472 points, the driver of the number 6, Tyson Drown. Finishing in 9th with 540 points from Morrisonville, New York, the driver of the 69, John Bradley. Finishing in 8th, he had 563 points. He was from Morrisonville, New York. He's the driver of the 02, Eric Riel. Finishing in 7th with 568 points. He drives the Bob's Trucking, number 41 out of Keysville, New York. It's Tim LaFountain. Finishing in 6th with 587 points. He drives the number 3 from Dannemora, New York. It was Rob Sines. Now, ladies and gentlemen, your top 5 Mini Modified drivers. Finishing in 5th with 604 points. He's from Shazy, New York. He's a driver of the Lucky 13. It's Josh LaBarnway. Finishing in 4th with 628 points. From Keysville, New York, and the number 14 is Rob Clark. Finishing in 3rd with 657 points. From Plattsburgh, New York, and the number 45, it's Josh Laporte. And now in your number 2 spot, he had 727 points. He drives the Monster Energy Drink, number 54 from Plattsburgh, New York. It was Jason Chris. And ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for your Monster, or your Mini Modified Busch Beer Track Champion. He had 789 points. The Sales Construction, number 47 from Wayne Beer, Eric Sales.
I just want to take a quick second to thank my sponsors, and my beautiful wife, my mom and dad. Thank you very much. And especially my fellow competitors. Thank you. It was great racing you. Great year.
Okay, next class up will be the Key RD Trailer Sales Renegades. And if I can get all Renegade drivers in the top 15 to please move to the right side of the building. As soon as you're lined up, we'll move on with the Key RD Trailer Sales Renegades. the Carrot Racing number 5 from Peru, New York, Mark Carrot. Finishing at 14th with 413 points, Metal Man Racing and Junk is Beautiful, number 2 Double M, Favored Mueller, finishing at 13th with 458 points. I don't believe he's with us tonight, but he was the driver of the number 98. That was Brian Chris. Accepting Brian's award is his brother Michael. Finishing in 12th. He had 462 points. He drives the Nate's Automotive Bill Joyle Designs, number 28 from Fairfax, Vermont, Ryan Hogan. Finishing in 11th, 481 points. The Trips Trucking and Rise North Redemption Center, number 08 from Dannemora, New York, Andy Burno. Finishing in your top 10 now, in the 10th spot with 554 points. The Brookfield Excavation, number 44 from Morrisonville, New York, Tyler Terry. In your 9th spot with 571 points, the driver of the 69 from Vermont, it's Don Franklin. Finishing in 8th, 593 points with the Brookfield Excavation Adirondack Transmissions, number 43, Josh Terry. Finishing in 7th. He moved up at the end of the year and he gained a feature win. He had 602 points. He was a driver of the number 1, Rick Donor. Finishing in 6th with 607 points. He's got the Key RD Trailer Sales, Shumway Insurance, number 22, from Peru, New York, it's Robbie Favreau. Now, ladies and gentlemen, your top 5 Renegade drivers. Finishing in a 5th spot with 619 points. He drives the H2O well drilling Premier Paving number 20 out of Milton, Vermont is Robbie Gordon. Now in 4th with 634 points. He drives the Furniture World of Vermont, Culligan Waterworks, number 11 from Fairfax, Vermont, Lance Raptoy. Finishing in 3rd, 654 points. The High Voltage Designs, Richard's Tree Sales, number 70, from Plattsburgh, New York. They call him Racing Jason McClatchy. And now your runner-up spot. He had 677 points. He drives a C&L Taxi, Freihoffer's Bread, number 13, from West Shazy, New York. It's Joe Warren. Now, ladies and gentlemen, your back-to-back years track champion. He had 720 points. He drives the Yipe Stripes Direct Auto Body number 25 out of Fairfax, New York. Let's hear it for Kevin Boatman.
I'd just like to thank a few people out there, everybody that raced with me. You guys were great to race with like every year. It's a great division. I've been able to race on a lot of different tracks. There's nothing like the Renegade division at Airborne. I need to thank my wife and kids. They give the ultimate sacrifice every week so I can be out in the garage all night. And they're real troopers about it. The Rad Toys for making it a great family racing experience. My brothers for being there for me once again for the past 2 years. Prior to this, they've been there to help me on my crew. This year I had mechanical failures twice, and they were there for me to let me use their cars. Without them, I could have never done this. And this one goes out to them for sure once again. So I just want to thank them and everybody else that helped out. Thank you.
Okay, our next class up will be the J&S Steel Limited Late Models. Same class as we used to call the Tigers, but they're getting bigger and better each year. If I can get you guys to start rolling up to the right side of the building, we'll keep moving on with the Limited Late Model Awards.
Chief.
Moving on with our limited late models. Our 15th place finisher is not with us tonight, but he had 264 points. He was the driver of the number 35, Brian McGinley. Finishing in 14th. He had 267 points. It was the driver of the number 75, Cody Myers. Finishing in 13th, 273 points. He sponsor is the Pepper from Plattsburgh, New York. It's the number 7, Rico Hernandez. Finishing in 12th, 324 points. The North Line Utilities, Adirondack Water Systems, number 68 from Sable Forks, New York, Jamie Atkins. Finishing in 11th, he had 329 points. The Perkins Chiropractic Bushy's Auto Repair, number 11 from Moores Forks, New York, is Jimmy Bushy. And now your top 10 limited late models. He had 352 points. He drives the S&L Trucking, number 56 from Plattsburgh, New York. It's Casey St. Clair. Finishing in 9th with 370 points. The Eaglefield Ford, number 93, from West Shazy, New York, is Chris Frenier. Now your 8th place finisher with 406 points. From Osable Forks, New York, in the North Line Utilities, number 4 is Brandon Atkins. Finishing in 7th with 448 points, the Adirondack Computer Solutions Protect Seal Coating, number 24, from Clintonville, New York, Keith Elke. Our 6th place finisher with 455 points is not with us tonight. He was a driver of the 7X, Fred Lagoy. And now the top 5 limited late models. In 5th with 474 points, Furniture World of Vermont, Island Excavated, number 21, out of Swanton, Vermont, Dave Raptoy. Finishing in 4th with 535 points, Morrisonville, New York's IRC Trombley Construction, number 18, Sean Duquette. Now your top 3 with 568 points. He drives a Bigor Supply, Vancourt Fuels, number 19, from Morris, New York, Jamie Bigor. In your number 2 spot, he had 583 points. He drives the Kanaka Bingo, Rhetoric, Leland's Barbershop, number 61, from Plattsburgh, New York, Robin Wood. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for your limited late model track champion with 609 points. He drives the Bud Light Marcia Holmes, number 20, from, they say, Wiggletown, New York. It's the Wet Racing Echo.
All right, I know I'm not known to shut them down, so I'm going to talk about the things here. I only got about 15 pages of ads on me. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight and listen to all our boring speeches. So be courteous, listen to me. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my wife and my family. They put up with a lot, as you all know. I mean, I'm in the garage 7 days a week, and they pay the price for it, so I really applaud them for that. Jamie, you're my biggest supporter and my biggest critic. You're a really special woman to put up with all the stuff I do. So. I'd like to thank my sponsors. I think I got the best sponsors in the North Country. Jack from Plattsburgh, Money's the shooter all over the racetrack. Nick, I mean everybody. Jake, everybody's got money from the racetrack side. He does a really good job. Steve Carpenter from Liquor and Wine Warehouse, they do a great job at the track too. Debbie and Kim Marcia from Marcia Homes, Connell Lodge, Daniel Signs, Precision Auto, they also do stuff at the racetrack. And Casella and Plattsburgh Paving, I'd like to thank them all. Oh, and the MO engines. We're giving us some pretty good engines, I guess. I only got 15 pages more. your mouth shut all the time. You're doing well. And Molly and Sean, thank you for trying to help. And I'd like to congratulate all our other champions, Todd Stone, Nick Haywood, Kevin Cooper, and Derek Sales. It's a pleasure being with you. Eric from Sales. And our photographers at the track, Andy Watts, Dave Brown, and Snapshots. Speedway Magazine, they did a great article on our racetrack and also me, and I appreciate that from everybody. And I think it's good that we're getting the word out on our racetrack because I think we have one of the best facilities in the Northeast. Jamie and Brandon Atkins, thank you for letting me run your late model. I really appreciate it. Didn't have to turn up and quick monitor. And Michael Cody and staff, giving us a great push to race. And all the track crew, put up with all the drivers. Bob Mueller and the tent crew, they got the hardest job in the pits. Bowmans and the Rat Boys, they put on that big roast every year. We thank you. I'd like to congratulate my probably future son-in-law, Bobby and he's racing Devil on the road tomorrow, and he's going for the championship over there. So I'd like to. Robin, you're probably one of the best race car drivers I've ever driven against, and I've driven against a lot of them. And they might call me the professor, but you're the teacher. Because you've been teaching me a lot in the last few years. Mr. Bigor, where are you? I want to thank you for putting the fire in my ass this year.
Our new class for this year, and I think the class did an excellent job. Many weeks, no cautions, some real good racing. For a lot of guys, first time ever in open wheel cars, and you guys had a lot of respect and did a beautiful job with that class. It's the Adirondack Water System Sportsman Modifieds. If you can start heading up to the right side of the room. Finishing in 15th, he had 246 points. He had several feature wins. He drives the Mueller & Sons Heavy Duty Towing and Recovery, number 19, out of Olmstedville, New York, young Jesse Mueller. Listen, you don't look like Jesse. Come on up, get his award, Dad. Let's hear it for his father, Mr. Mueller.
Thank you, sir. He's in Western New York, and he's honored for this. We didn't expect this. Thank you.
On va les présenter en français aussi avec 246 points. Le 19, commandité par Mueller & Sons, Jesse Mueller d'Olmstedville, New York.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. I forgot to introduce Chris. He does our interpreting, and our French version of our awards each and every year, and does an excellent job. Chris, thank you very much. Finishing in 14th, this guy had 301 points. He drives the number 03 from Plattsburgh, New York. It's Speedy Brissett.
301 points. De Plattsburgh, New York, le 03 Speedy Brissett.
Finishing in 13th with 312 points. He's not with us tonight, but he drove the number 35, Mike Kingsman.
En 13e place avec 312 points, le 35, Mike Kingsman.
Finishing in 12th. Another gentleman not with us tonight. He had 338 points. He was the driver of the 9J, Jim Introne Jr.
En 12e position, avec 338 points, le conducteur du 9J, Jim Introne Jr.
Now our top 10 sportsman drivers, finishing in 10th with 527 points. Oh, I missed the 11th award. I'm very sorry. This gentleman is not with us tonight. He was the driver of the number 28 from Quebec with 488 points, Eric Lazer.
En 11e position, avec 488 points, le 28, Eric Lausière.
Now our top 10 with 527 points. He drove the Casella Waste, the Pepper, number 7 New York, from Plattsburgh, New York, Cody Albany.
En 10e place, avec 527 points, le 7 New York, de Plattsburgh, New York, Cody Albany.
Finishing in 9th. This driver is not with us tonight. He had 529 points. He was a driver of the number 46. They called him Little Joe Daniels.
En 9e place, avec 529 points, le numéro 46, Joe Daniels.
Finishing in 8th with 556 points. In the Susie Racing, number 24 from Plattsburgh, New York, Chris Susie.
En 8e, avec 556 points, le 24, Chris Susie.
Finishing in 7th with 580 points. In the Brissett Racing, number 14 from Keysville, New York, John Michael Brissett.
En 7e, avec 580 points, le numéro 14, John Michael Brissett.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this next driver would have been with us, but he had probably the worst luck you could ever think of. Earlier this week, or last week, I'm sorry, and he lost his brother in a plane crash. I've been informed that the viewing was tonight and the funeral is tomorrow. He drove the number 99. It was Sebastian Fournier.
Pour ceux qui ne savent pas, le frère Yannick, le frère de Sébastien Fournier, le fils d'Alain Fournier, est décédé mardi passé dans un accident d'avion. Donc, il n'est pas avec nous. Il est en 6e place, le 99, Sébastien Fournier.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, Sebastian's brother, and also, I'm sorry to announce, the number 44 modified driver was his father. Finishing in 5th, he had 602 points. He drives the Gayosa's Wine and Spirits, Michigan's Plus, number 33, from Morrisonville, New York, Travis Bruno.
En 5e place, avec 602 points, le numéro 33, Travis Bruno.
Finishing in 4th, with 644 points, in the Hutley Truckin' High Voltage Design, number 1, from Plattsburgh, New York, Jake Branham. finishing in third with 677 points. And the Marcia Holmes Bob's Trucking number 20 out of Keysville, New York, Jamie LaFountain.
En troisième place, avec 677 points, le numéro 20, Jamie LaFountain.
Now your runner-up, Sportsman Driver with 722 points. He drove the Freihofer's Lake City Siding, number R7, from Beamantown, New York. It's Lonnie Rivers.
En deuxième place, avec 722 points, le numéro AF7, Lonnie Rivers.
Nice shirt, Rivers!
Thank you, Kurt. You can adjust this to my height a little bit. You can see. Just want to thank my wife for letting me, participate in racing all these years, for dealing with all my fits, for needing this and needing that, to be able to compete with all the front runners. Thank you, babe. And the second thing is I want to congratulate the 29 team, Nick and his father and the whole crew. They had a great car and they did a lot of good racing this year. Congratulations to you guys. Just want to congratulate Kevin Booten's team too. 3 years in a row. Wow. Congratulations, you guys. That's great. And I just want to thank a couple of my sponsors real quick. Some of my main sponsors, Eric and Sherry, Freihofer's. Could you guys stand up for a second so everybody can see who you guys are? These guys helped me a lot with the car. And my other sponsors who aren't here tonight, is Mcgrail Farms, Jimmy Irwin. And my last sponsor that I wanted to thank is Lana's Daycare. She helped me out quite a bit this year too. So thank you, everybody.
And I want to apologize to everybody here. I don't know when you can see Lonnie because he wasn't high enough to go over the podium, but this is him when he moves away from the podium. How about your new Sportsman Trike champion? He had 795 points. He drove the Budweiser Warren Tire, number 29, from Plattsburgh, New York, better known as Slick Nick Hayward.
Le champion sportsman, 795 points, le numéro 29, Nick Haywood.
Just one, Bucko. Just one. Yeah, I'm going to try not to be as long as Bucko because he was boring as all. But I have a bunch of people to thank. Mainly is my family. And when I say family, I mean my crew because they're the best people ever. And mostly my family. But first I got to thank Sarah, my wonderful wife, and the most beautiful pregnant woman here. Thank you for understanding the time that I ditched you to hang out with my other girlfriend, the race car. And I spent more time with Vanessa, the race car, than you. Love you, babe. And my mom and dad, without you two, this would not be possible. You guys spend every nickel and dime extra that you have on this. And my daddy, if you guys don't know him, he's the, besides Buckle, one of the craziest guys about racing. Every 10 seconds there's something racing going through his head. I'll walk in the door at 7 o'clock in the morning at work and he'd be like, I thought of a way we could make the car faster this week. I'm like, Dad, I'm not even awake yet. I just woke up 5 minutes ago, okay? And Mike and Callie, my mother and father-in-law, two of the greatest people you ever meet. They spoil me like I'm their own son, buying tires, gas, whatever I need. Bud and Steph, my sister and brother-in-law, when I need something, it could be a battery, anything, they're on their way to find it. It doesn't matter. My grandfather, he lets me use the garage every week, and tie up the garage, and basically run up his light bill. But thanks, Pops. And now on to the guys that do a lot of work. Jared, Mark, Mike, Todd, my dad, you guys are awesome. I mean, I'll get text messages at 7 or 4 o'clock. I'm not done work till 5, and they'll be like, "Where are you? We're ready to work on the car." I'm like, guys, I got to make money so we can afford this thing, But thanks, guys. I mean, never met such a good, dedicated group of guys as you. I got to thank my and their wives. Without the wives, they wouldn't be allowed to come out and play with us. So I got to thank Andy Kane and my uncle Andy. They put together the best setup you could ask for this year. I mean, I don't think we ever changed the spring all year. I mean, they sat down and thought about the car and got a great setup in it. I also got to thank the Barbie Motorsports. We hit the wall hard this year and completely totaled our car. And Aaron was the first one over there. If you need anything, give us a call. So we called them up, and they basically rebuilt my whole car. And the next week we were out there just as fast as we were before. So thanks a lot, guys. Herb, Aaron, all you guys, Adam, Todd. And I also got to thank my sponsors, Budweiser and Plattsburgh Distributing, Warren Tire, T&B Metals, Brew Farm Center, AK Auto, Chris Fabrication. Any of you modified guys want to buy a cheap body, Brian Chris is a man to go to. RMG Enterprises, Clipper Corner, and Murphy's Bar. Lastly, I'd like to thank Mike Peratti and the staff at Airborne. They give us a great place to race at every week, and some of the most, welcoming people you'll ever meet. And my competitors, you guys are great and really respectful this year. Thanks a lot. Lastly, I have to tell you guys a little story about Bucko and I. We halfway through the year, I text Bucko, and I think I was looking for a part or something. And at the time, he had one more win than I did. I said, Bucko, at the end of the year, whoever has the most wins has to buy dinner. Well, Bucko had 8 wins.
I won.
I had 7 wins. So I got Bucko some dinner. I got him a Happy Meal. So.
All right, moving on to the Ernie's Discount Tools Modifieds. If you can move it up to the right side of the building, we'll get started on our last class of awards. Finishing in 15th place, he had 462 points. He drives the Plattsburgh Radiator Customs and Classics number CO2 from West Shazy, New York, was Craig Riel.
En 15e, avec 462 points, le C02, Craig Riel.
Finishing in 14th, this gentleman's not with us tonight. He had 482 points. He was the driver of the number 78, Vince Winville.
En 14e, avec 482 points, le 78, Vince Winville.
Finishing in 13th with 511 points, it's the Dawson's Body Shop, Warren F. Fain, number 3, at Opposing Kill, New York, Andy Linderman.
En 13e, avec 511 points, le numéro 3, Andy Lindemann.
Well, first off, I'd like to thank everybody for the Plattsburgh staff, Mike Peratti. What a great place it is to race, and Glad they let us come up there and race. And certainly got to thank all my sponsors, my crew chief, Jason. I have one of my main sponsors here, Wells Communications. I want to thank Ed Keene, and certainly everybody have a good time.
Finishing in 12th with 541 points, the Alternative Systems Custom Homes out of Kingsbury, New York, the driver of the 97, Chris Vernol.
En deuxième, avec 541 points, le 97, Chris Vernal.
Finishing in 11th with 551 points, the number 18 Dragoons Farm Equipment, Bigor Supply, Chris K.A.
En 11e position, avec 551 points, le 18, Chris K.A.
Now our top 10 modifieds, finishing in 10th with 564 points. The Majetkit Industrial Regal Bakery, number 25 from Saint-Césaire, Quebec, it's Maxime Vienne.
En 10e position, avec 564 points, commandité par Majetkit Industriel, Regal Bakery, le numéro 25, Maxime Vien de Saint-Césaire, Québec.
Finishing in 9th with 574 points in the TDI Repair Facility, number X, out of Sheldon, Vermont, it's Adam Barnaby.
En 9e position, avec 574 points, le numéro X, Adam Barnaby.
Finishing in 8th. This gentleman's not with us tonight. He had 589 points. He was a driver of the 1 New York, Greg Atkins.
En 8e position, avec 589 points, le numéro 1 New York, Greg Atkins.
Now moving on to our 7th place finisher with 594 points. He's in the Englefield Ford, Riley Ford, number 4, from Chazy, New York, is Leon Gagno.
En 7e position, avec 594 points, le numéro 4, Leon Gagnon.
Finishing in 6th with 624 points. And the Gaiosas Wine and Spirits, Plummador and Sons Trucking and Excavating, number 80, from Morrisonville, New York, is Andy Awad.
En 6e position, avec 624 points, le numéro 80, Andy Haywood.
Now your top 5 modifieds. In the 5th spot with 647 points, the TDI Repair Facility number B3 from Champlain, New York, Adam Barnaby.
En 5e position, avec 647 points, le B3, Adam Barnaby.
In your 4th spot with 673 points, in the Saranac Country Store, Fournier's Farm Equipment number 24 from Saranac, Lake, New York, is Patrick Dupree.
En 4e position, avec 673 points, le numéro 24, Patrick Dupree.
Now your runner-up spot. Only 6 points out of the big spot. He drives the Fastenal, Brassard Mazda, number 10. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot number 3. Sorry, George. Finishing in 3rd spot with 679 points. With the Shamrock Bar and Grill, Pulsifer Logging, number 34, from Vermontville, New York, George Foley.
numéro 34, George Foley.
Now your runner-up spot with 764 points. In the Fastenal, Broussard Mazda number 10 from Candiac, Quebec, Patrick Mcgrail.
Deuxième, 764 points. Commandité par Fastenal et Broussard Mazda de Candiac, Québec. Le numéro 10, Patrick Mcgrail.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now your track champion for your 2012 Ernie's Discount Tools Modifieds. We had 770 points. He was a driver of the G-Stone Motors Renegade Trailers, number 1X from Middlebury, New York. He's not with us tonight because I say he's out west, but I believe his wife is going to accept the award. Todd Stone.
Things we do for our husbands. Todd was disappointed that he couldn't be here tonight because there's a lot of people that he wants to thank. He's on a hunting trip in Wyoming with his dad and our son and our nephew. They were very careful to plan this trip around the whole racing schedule, just like our wedding and the birth of our 3 children. Even Jeff, the crew chief, and his wife BJ planned their wedding around the racing season, which is, and Rob as well. And I guess they all did. And that's a great tip for all of you young drivers out there. It makes for happy wives. At the beginning of the season, Todd and the crew started racing up north because of their love of dirt track racing. They still plan to hit a few airborne shows, but we're going to hang their hat at Mohawk for the year. Racing started at Airborne first, so they hit those races and did well. It seemed like things weren't really coming together at Mohawk. One week they worked all day on Friday, drove 3.5 hours, blew a motor, drove 3.5 hours home. And incidents like that just kept occurring, and the fun factor was dwindling quickly. They decided to reevaluate the situation, and it made sense to stick with what was working and race at Airborne, and they were very glad they did. As I said, Todd had hoped to be here so he could personally thank the people who helped him clinch the championship this year. It's not a feat that can be accomplished by a one-man show. Starting at the top, Mike Peratti. Mike and Todd have raced on the track together for a number of years. Having a promoter who's been a racer is huge. Mike is fair and respectful of the racers. He does a good job of mixing it up and keeping it fun. Todd said the Run What You Brung race was probably one of the most fun races he's ever had. He's raced at racetracks all over New England, Florida, and Canada, each with a different promoter with different ideas. Mike's style is definitely one of the factors in the team's decision to race weekly at Airborne. Thank you very much, Mike, for a great season. Of course, we all know Mike can't take on this huge task himself, and Todd wanted to be sure to thank the officials and all of the track crew, right down to the ladies at the pit gate who helped keep our bookkeeping straight. The smiles and respectfulness did not go unnoticed. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes effort that has helped make Airborne the clean, family-friendly track it is today. And if it wasn't for Nikki, I might not have eaten tonight, so thank you. It was a competitive year on the track. In particular, Todd and Patrick Mcgrail seemed to end up near each other more often than not. One thing Todd mentioned regularly was his respect for Pat as a fellow racer and as a person. People sometimes ask me, don't you get nervous when Todd races? The answer is sometimes. If a nearby car is really squirrely or not running their own line, I do get a little nervous. But when Todd raced against Patrick, I didn't feel scared that he was going to take him out. I just worried whether he was going to get past him. Todd and Pat raced door-to-door, nose-to-nose, flat out, and around a corner and still race each other clean. Regardless of who finished in front of the other, they'd still get together in the pits, shake hands, and have some laughs. You can love racing all you want, but having that type of camaraderie on and off the track was the icing on the cake. Thank you, Pat. Although Gardner isn't here, Todd wanted to express his appreciation for his dad. Not only did Todd inherit Gardner's motorhead genes, Gardner created the opportunity for Todd to race at the level he does. Granted, there are stressful moments when your dad is also your boss, your sponsor, and your competitor. Gardner has been there for him through the tough times, and you can surely bet he's there to celebrate the good times. Sometimes a little more celebratory than Todd might like, which many of you may know if you were at the last race. But Todd really appreciates the level of support and is thankful to have the ties he does with his dad. I would not need to be standing here if it was not for Todd's desire to show his appreciation for some very important people, and that is his team. I don't need to tell any of you guys out there, racing is a lot of work. It takes a lot of planning, strategizing, commitment, and good team spirit, and some good luck, to race an entire season without missing a single lap. A very special thank you to veteran driver Lou Ciccone, a successful racer who helped get things on track. And Todd wholeheartedly wants to thank his crew and their families. From the end of April to October, the racing schedule dictates a lot of the team's free time, which also affects their family time. Thank you, BJ, Jen, Lori, and Becky, for all of your understanding and support. The team just really came together, made the commitment to go for it, and never looked back. For that, Todd is very grateful. And I know you won't like this, but I'd like you guys to stand up. Todd's crew chief, Jeff Carter. His teammates, Corey Whalen, who's not with us, Rob Lowell, and Wade Provinger. These guys have been together year after year, and Todd has been able to count on their support and good humor. It's a good thing the holler walls can't talk. Thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts. You're more than just a race team, you're dear friends. We look forward to another great year with you guys. Thank you.
Moving on to our special awards. When we give out these special awards for each class, if anyone is up speaking, if we could get a little respect, please, and keep the noise down and listen, we'd really appreciate it. In our mini modifieds, we had a first-time Rookie of the Year. He did a heck of a job. He was a top 10 car in the mini modified points, which if anybody watched that show all year long, you know it's tough to be in the top 6 in that class. Because there was times you have to be racing 4 and 5 wide just to be able to make a pass. And they did it 9 out of 10 weeks without even touching each other. You guys did a great job, mini mods. And we wish that there was more awards to give out to all of you. Our Rookie of the Year in the mini mods was a driver, the number 8, Rob Sainz. Number 3, I'm sorry, Rob, I had your number wrong. This guy, I don't know, I've been watching him race for 5, 6, 7 years. There's nobody that's blown up more motors than this guy in racing, especially in this mini modified class. It seemed like every time he went out on the racetrack, 3 out of 4 weeks, he'd blow a motor, running good, break something serious, running good. Well, this year here, he didn't. He told me one week at Airborne, he says, see, I told you, that 3 number was unlucky. I changed my number and look at me go every week. Our most improved mini modified driver, the number 54, Jason Chris. And now our Hard Luck Award. Our Hard Luck Award this year goes to a guy that really destroyed a car, had contact with what they call that cement wall several weeks, a few weeks with other cars, but it seemed like he always found a way to come back. He had the car back every week, looking good again. Our Hard Luck Mini Modified driver is a driver of the number 41, Tim LaFountain.
I'd just like to say that I did make it every week, but the only reason that I made it every week because I had 3 guys that worked in the garage on the car every day of the week. And Rob, Chris, and George, Todd, they're all ready. Chris isn't here tonight. He picked 7 cars one day and told me a little story that said, basically I'd rather fix their car and have it work right on the track because they're going to race it either way. Whether it works or not, they're going to race it. So I'd rather see your ability as a driver beat that car by driving it and having that car fall apart in front of you and running into it. And obviously, because of this, I ran into a few.
Okay, moving on to our Renegades. Our Rookie of the Year in the Renegades, which is another real good class. Renegades, I want to say congratulations. You guys had a couple extra distance races this year. And like Mike said, the reason you guys were out there, it seemed like for the special added each week, is you guys did one heck of a job. There's several weeks you went green to checkers without an incident at all. I want to congratulate every one of the Renegade drivers on a great year for the fans. And the Rookie of the Year, finishing in the top 15 in points, was the driver of the number 28, Ryan Bowden.
First of all, I'd like to thank Joe Warren for being my inside retaining wall every time I screwed up this year. Congratulations to my brother Kevin, 3 years in a row, that's awesome. It's hard to do. As far as my brother John goes, a rough year. You'll get him next year though, he'll be there up there with us. And I want to thank Mike and everybody, this is a great division, I had a blast. Thanks to all the Renegade drivers for treating me like one of their own. And most importantly, can't forget my wife. She's been there through it all. It takes a special kind of woman to get involved in this race and stuff and stick around quite as long as she has. So thanks again.
Your most improved driver. This guy here has been around several classes at Airborne. He's always seems to be in the front, but I don't think he's ever made it to the spot he made it this year. He definitely was a great competitor all year long. He fought right to the end, and he ended up only something like, I'm guessing, like 25 points out of your championship. Your most improved Renegade driver is the driver of the number 13, Joe Warren. for 2012. There's no doubt this was hard luck. This guy here was laying underneath his race car working on it, and he accidentally got hit by another competitor's car, knocked off the jack stands, and it landed on top of him. They took him out, took him to the hospital. He come back and competed that night in the feature. Our Hard Luck Renegade Award goes to the number 43, Josh Terry. Awards will be the Sportsman Modifieds, and Mike said since that is a new class, everybody did great. The guys that had bad luck had tough luck, we know that. So he decided there will be no special awards for the Sportsman Modifieds first year in competition. So moving on from that, we'll be moving on to the limited late models. Our limited late models had a good field of cars all year. But we got a chance to save an award because there was no Rookie of the Year in a limited late models. Most Improved Driver. This guy here, each year went out, seemed like he always found a way to have some type of bad luck, but this year was a top 10 competitor. He had a great year. Each week, it seemed like he was getting better. He's led a lot of laps. And I think by the time next year ends, he'll probably click off a feature win. Your most improved limited late model driver is the 56, Casey St. Clair. Okay, your Hard Luck limited late model driver for 2012. This guy here destroyed a car. I think he had some motor trouble a couple of times. He went away in an ambulance one night, had to take, I believe, at least 3 weeks off because the doctor would not release him to race. Your Hard Luck limited late model driver for 2012, the driver, the number 68, Jamie Atkins. He says, no, I'm not saying anything. I think he's worried he might trip and fall down right here and get hurt, so he's going to stay up here. Moving on to the Modifieds. Rookie of the Year in the Modifieds. He raced a part-time year. I see 1 week, I know he was in the top 3. I believe he might even been second towards the end of the year. Your Modified Rookie of the Year driver, the number 19, Jesse Mueller. Accepted his award will be his dad because Jesse's out of town.
On Jesse's behalf, thank you very much. I'm sure he didn't expect this, but he's out in the Midwest, and thank you.
Most Improved Driver for your Modified class. And there's no doubt this guy put a show on this year. I believe he got feature wins. He was a top 5 point getter. And he was tough every week on that racetrack in the Modifieds. Seemed like he was always in the front. If he didn't break, he was a top 5 competitor. Your Most Improved Modified Driver for 2012, the B3 of Aaron Barnaby. Aaron said he only wants to say one thing. He's all set. Your hard luck modified driver for 2012. There's no doubt this guy had some tough luck. I know of 2 motors that blew up. I believe he literally destroyed 2 race cars. And he still tried to find a way to fight back and be there every week. And I don't believe he missed any weeks. Your modified 2012 hard luck driver, who's not with us tonight, but very well deserves this award, the driver of the number 76, Mike Wells. Now we have, Mike, can you hand me that bag right there? No, it's not for you. I just got it. About a half an hour before this banquet started, I had an individual come up to me outside, and I thought they were giving me a present. They handed me this bag, and they said, can you give this award to one of our great drivers here at the banquet? I said, yeah, what do you want me to say? What's it for? They said, oh, pretty simple. He comes to my garage, and when he's in my garage, he looks at a blanket, and it's like a leopard skin blanket, and he just loves it. Oh my God, he says, I wish my wife would make me a pair of pants just like that blanket. I'd wear them all the time. So from DMO Motors, Mr. Dave O'Neill, given to Mr. Bucko Branham, and I hope you don't model them for us tonight, a brand new pair of racing driving pants. Come on, I'll get your award. There's a friend. Bucko, don't forget the bag they came in. Okay, and I was told by somebody else, and I won't even say who, but as most of you people know here, we had an individual get hurt in Syracuse. That individual, I'm going to say possibility could be up here maybe on stage or something right now, I'm not quite sure, but you know, the first thing somebody come up to me and said, and Mike, I didn't even think of this one, but they said, listen, you got to tell Mike to get up there on the mic and thank the people at his table. I said, thank for what? Nobody really wanted to sit with him. He made the assignment, so that's why they were there. But they all had to cut his meat for him because he's only got one hand. So they cut his meat for him. So I said, okay, I'll let that go. No problem. I'll tell him thanks. All you people that were at Mike's table, he said thank you. He really appreciates that. So one of his other friends calls me up a few days ago and says to me, I bought Mike a new set of seat belts for his race car. So this person, I said, well, where did you get them? He said, well, Leaf Racing Systems sent me a new set of seat belts for Mike. I said, okay. He said, well, I would like to give them to him at the banquet. But he had to go out of town and he didn't get them for me. So I'll just let everybody know, Mike has got a new safety harness coming, so when he's in Syracuse, not in the race car, he can safely get down from the trailer without jumping head first. So, on behalf of all your friends, Mike, I'm leaving this message to you. We hope you're feeling better, but, be careful with all this safety stuff.
I don't know why you guys pick on me. I've never picked on anyone in this room. But I want to tell you, this is the best banquet we've ever had, the most enthusiastic, the most fun. Thanks to Bucko mostly. He's done a great job of entertaining us. It's been a lot of fun tonight, and I hope we can carry this enthusiasm and fun into next year. Thank all of you. You're great people. Thank you.
Now back to a little bit of a serious note. We're going to bring Sherm back in. But Sherm, you're not out of everything yet. Oh, okay, no one. I'm sorry, we have 2 more awards, Nikki just informed me. She's going to give them. Okay, we have a very special award for an individual, 2 individuals actually, that are here tonight that help us out every year at the banquet, and anytime we need them, it seems like they step forward, and they're not even from our area direct, and they still come forward to help us out. And this is the Mike Watts Award. And we give this award every year, and it's very, very well deserved to the 2 people that are going to accept it this year. Chris Kraft and Kathleen Caldwell. Please come forward. Chris is the gentleman that did our interpreting all night and does it for our banquet every year. Thank you very much to both of you. Well, I don't know what to say. We just show up and try to do what little we can to help make everything better, the same as everybody here does. As far as we're concerned, you're our Saturday family. We love it. Okay, yeah, you're our American Saturday family. We love what we do. Everybody here is great. Even the people that couldn't be here are great too. I don't know what else to say. Thank you.
Rendered me speechless, and that's really rare.
Thank you very much. Okay, our next award. It's the Sportsman of the Year Award for Airborne in 2012. And Mike said there were so many people you could have given this award to, but the gentleman that's getting it is so well deserved of it. It seems like no matter when somebody has a problem, this guy goes out of his way to help them out. I don't care if it's at the racetrack, in home at a garage, at their garage, on the telephone. And believe me, between me and my son, we've made many calls to this guy, and he's helped us out. Our Sportsman of the Year for 2012, Bucko Branham.
figured I was going to get this because I helped Jamie out, but I mean, I love good competition. Jamie's good competition. He's good for me and Melvin and our division, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I love helping people. I only got a couple more good years left of racing, and I just want to make the best of it. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And now the one everybody's waiting for, Driver of the Year for Airborne 2012. We have a lot of drivers here. Probably could give it to 7/8 of you. You guys did a great job each and every class this year. It's hard to give this award to just one competitor with so many at Airborne, but we voted on it. We threw it around. You people voted on it. And this year's Airborne Driver of the Year, he's from the Modified Division. He's a driver of the number 10, Patrick Mcgrail.
First of all, thank you very much, Mike, aka Airborne Speedway. And you know what? Coming from Montreal, as a Canadian, we go through border every week. And you know what? I'm so happy that I could race at your track, and you welcome us as Canadian. For this, all of you, thank you very much. It's more than that. After this, like Todd Stone, Patrick Gray and everybody, we had great racing, everybody on the track was so fun to race. And we do a lot of sacrifice to go racing, and, I want to thank my wife, that is, I want to quit racing, and I have a hard time to quit racing, and she's telling me, continue, don't stop, I'm aging, I'm 51, and I've been racing for all time. And like Mike said before, we race car, we had good racing and everything, but we don't do this by ourselves, I just want the best driver, but I don't think that it's only the driver, the team is very important. And I have one guy that is racing with me since more than 30 years, that he's my crew chief, Leon, that went through a cancer this year, and he's been with me. I want you to stand up, Leon. You know what? Thank you very much. Thank you all of us.
Okay, I got couple of last things to say, but one thing, if I can get everyone's attention, I forgot to bring it up early, but one of our longtime competitors and car owners could not be here with us tonight, who was always here. Craig Ormsby wanted me to give you all an update on his condition. As you all know, he has cancer and is in Buffalo Hospital for his treatments all this week. He says hi to you all, and he's looking forward to seeing you all in the 2013 racing season. He will be going through extensive treatments for his stem cell transplant, and he wants to thank you all for everything you have done for him, and he can't wait to return to see us all. So in your prayers, if you can say a quick one time for Craig, it's really appreciated.